Now, I know some commentators will say Anthony Albanese's economic gaffes were big and embarrassing, but for me, the electoral impacts of the border protection statements are far worse. I've seen a decade of polling on the issue of borders. I tell you, it is a vote changer like no other. Well, he now says he supports boat turnbacks. In the past, he couldn't. He couldn't decide over the weekend whether he was for temporary protection visas or not, or offshore detention or not. It's a mess. And joining me now for his reaction, one of the architects behind Tony Abbott's Operation Sovereign Borders, retired Major General Jim Molan, joins me now from Queanbeyan. Jim, put your partisan senator hat to one side. You were there as a military man, putting your hand up saying we have to stop these boats, working with the coalition in opposition to get together a policy that we knew would work the moment we got into government, because we'd have one shot at stopping the boats. Remind people of the three fundamental planks and where Labor are tonight.
Peter, you're quite right. The economy is important, but so many Australians are impacted by this border control issue. I certainly was by two things, border control and defence. I was silly enough to believe Rudd when he said he would keep them both constant. Operation Sovereign Border consists of three factors, and you cannot say that you support Operation Sovereign Borders unless you support all three. The first one, Peter, is turnbacks. And the reason we have turnbacks is that it destroys the people smugglers model, particularly when those people that you take off a boat, they might sink their own boat, but particularly when you take them off a boat, put them on a bright orange boat and send it back to Indonesia or wherever you're taking it to. Because then the people smugglers very soon see, because the national media carry it, the people smugglers very soon see that they don't have a product to sell. So that's turnbacks. The second one is offshore processing. And the reason that you have offshore processing is because you could put the entire Navy and Coast Guard out there and you'll never stop everyone every time. They'll come at you from Vietnam, they'll come at you from Java, and they'll come at you from Sri Lanka. They'll come at you from all directions. So anything that gets through must be processed overseas, because if you don't, the people smugglers will sell the fact, yes, boats such and such, they're still in Australia. And TPVs, temporary protection visas, are there because you and Tony inherited 50,000 people, a legacy group of people first up. But the temporary protection visas guarantee that if somehow you get to Australia, or you were in Australia, or somehow in a way we haven't thought of, such as that extraordinary trick of medical assistance, somehow if somehow you get to Australia, you don't stay in Australia. And the most important thing about those three together indicates resolve. And there are 8,000 people, as we know, 8,000 Afghans waiting in Java to come to Australia. The people smugglers, Peter, as you know better than most people, are watching every single thing that we say.
This is a three-legged stool in terms of policy. You know, every single leg on that stool, if it is there, will hold up the policy. You take away one plank of it, one leg, the stool comes off. You take away two, as Labor is proposing now, no to TPVs, no to offshore processing, and expect the stool to sit there steady with just one leg, and that's turnbacks. You and I both know that can't happen.
No, it can't happen. It doesn't work. And the impact is mainly on the confidence that the Australian people have in the integrity of our borders. We are the most generous people in the world towards refugees, but not if they come illegally. We call them IMAs, illegal maritime arrivals. And the fact that we were so effective restored Australian people's faith in our border integrity. And therefore, we could let in greater number of refugees who were prepared to come through the system that we set up. And that, apart from saving lives, Peter, that is the real benefit of Operation Sovereign Borders.
Spot on. One of the most generous countries in the world and one of the highest per capita numbers of humanitarian entrants. You're good to remind us. Senator Molan, thank you for your time.